close your eyes, you smell this wine, you have the image of Montepulciano, you have the image of Tuscany. I'm Nicola Biscardo, your Italian wine ambassador. I'm here in my property in Tuscany, Villa Ortaglia, where we make our famous Vino Nobile di Montepulciano. The Vino Nobile di Montepulciano is a DOCG wine, which means that it's the highest rank in Italian classification. So, one of the most prestigious wine of Tuscany. As a matter of fact, the Vino Nobile and the Brunello di Montalcino are considered the two best highlights of Tuscany. They're both made with the same grape, but the two appellations are 35 minutes away one from the other. Those 35 minutes, they change completely day and night the product. The Sangiovese Grosso is a particular clone of the Sangiovese. Grosso means big, the big Sangiovese. But if you look at the cluster, it's smaller than the regular one. So they call it big because the berries are smaller and the skin is thicker. So there is more skin than juice. Therefore, during the maceration, when you press your grape, the juice extracts a lot of flavors out of the skin. Can you hear this gust? It's 6 p.m. right now. September 2nd, so right before harvest, in this location, as soon as the sun is setting, the wind is blowing big time in and out my vines. To keep this way, we keep the environment very clean, no mold, no humidity, no mold, and absolutely clean environment without using any chemicals, any anticritigamics or any pesticides. That's very, very important. So back to the Vino Nobile. The Prugnolo Gentile is actually the name of the Sangiovese Grosso in this area. You want me to tell you something crazy? The Sangiovese Grosso grown here in Montepulciano, Tuscany, takes the name of Prugnolo. If you take the car, you drive 30 minutes west, you go in Montalcino. Over there, same grape takes the name of Brunello. But if you drive a little bit more north, you go in Scansano, and the same Sangiovese Grosso takes the name of Morellino. So Prugnolo, Morellino, Brunello, same thing. So why, Nicola, we have all those names? Are you Italian crazy? Yeah, that's out of the question. We are crazy. But because those medieval towns were always isolated, so although they're so close one to the other, their tradition didn't blend, didn't mix, because they were all, I can say, close within the walls of their cities, and there were never communication. So that's why so many names. But what is very important is that those three names, they have the same meaning. Bruno, Brunello, Bruno means brunette, dark, like dark, because the skin is very dark. Morellino, Moro means dark, again means dark head. And Prugnolo, Prugna is the plum, and as you know, the plum is very dark, the skin. So three different ways to mean the look of the grape that is small and very dark. The result is a wine of absolute elegance. Is a wine that can has so much extraction that can support long aging in barrel. Here at Ortaglia, for the Riserva, we do about 24 months of barrel before we bottle the wine, and then we allowed another year in the bottle before actually we release it in the market. So it's at least 3 years for us before we release a Riserva. The color, as I mentioned before, is very dark. If you compare it to the Rosso, which is the younger brother, they're both very, very dark. But this one, because of the extended barrel aging in the biggest Slovenian oak, you get more brown reflection at the very edge. So we have a ruby red, dark ruby red with brown reflection, which screams Tuscany, Tuscany, Tuscany. My family, both here and in Verona, we like to have wine that speak about their own appellation. We don't want to have wine that when you smell them, you don't know where they're from. If you close your eyes, you smell this wine, you have the image of Montepulciano, you have the image of Tuscany. The first perfumes that comes are fresh violet flowers, and then immediately goes into an amazing prune, like the dry plum, to move on into licorice, and then dark licorice, and then some nice chocolate comes through. And one of the main things that I always recognize this wine is the leather. You know, when you buy a new leather jacket, and you have your leather jacket and you open a cigar box, that's the kind of perfume that comes to, like those minty tobacco leather jacket perfume. Phenomenal. On the palate, the wine is very firm, it's very austere. When you drink this wine is dragging you to Tuscany immediately. You can feel those, you can see the brick color of those medieval towns, and you can feel the austerity of the farmer that for centuries had to fight against this very hard soil, but if you properly manage, give this amazing jewel. So the wine scratch, the tan on the palate is scratching. We have very severe tannins, very full body structure tannins, but at the same time the glycerin that you can see through those long legs, the glycerin makes it soft. So it starts very rough on the palate, finish silky on the back. It's not bitter at all, but it's definitely a wine that you want to accompany with some heavy duty meal. So some game, for example, or a nice steak. Here in this area, the Fiorentina, the big T-bone, the porterhouse, which is made with the white cow, the Chianina, that's perfect with this wine. Roasted on the grill, olive oil, salt and pepper, and an amazing glass of Vino Nobile di Montepulciano.